Hi again, I'm Christina Go. I would like to teach you today about emotional healing deep relief now, which I will call it short form DRN. DRN is a very easy and quick and fast emotional healing step which you can use within between 3 to 5 minutes. You will be able to have a healing. Before I delve into that teaching, just let me give you an example of how you can use this emotional healing. Well, I would like to give to you an example from my own life of how I used it. Uh, there was some time ago when I was, maybe I am much uh, older than when I was 18 years old. So when I was 18 years old, something traumatic happened to me. And I went to my first job. I just left school and I went to my first job. I have not worked before, and I went to this place and went for an interview. When I went there, I was very pleasantly surprised because they were the people that I knew from church. And so I felt, wow, that's cool. Going to my first job, and there are nice Christians there. And so I got the job and I worked for 2.5 months there. And I was so traumatized by the time I finished working there that I totally lost my self-esteem. I was I believed so much of lies about myself. I thought I was incompetent. I was not good. And of course, when you are 18 years old, in the first job, you cannot. I couldn't. Um, how do I say? I couldn't put a finger to what was wrong. I was just so traumatized. I was just so sad, and I was so um, ashamed, and I was so embarrassed about the way I was um, treated. And so I couldn't talk about this situation, and I couldn't even uh, verbalize what was the emotions and that I felt. All I did was I just shut down, and I just couldn't talk about it, for I would say more than 20, um, more than 30 years. Yeah, I couldn't talk about it. And I would have my sister and asking me about it, and I couldn't talk about it. And some years ago, which was maybe about 4 or 5 years, yeah. And so after about 30 plus years of maybe 20 plus years of not being able to talk about it, and each time this trauma came up, the situation memory came up, all I could do was just suppress it, ignore it, couldn't talk about it, didn't want to think about it, and I just shut it aside. Until about 5 years ago, and I was in a worship, and suddenly the thought came, and guess what? As I always do, I will just ignore it, shut it down, push it aside, and quickly think about something else. And I did. And about a few seconds later, the thought came back again, and I just felt the Holy Spirit saying to me, hey, why don't you deal with this situation? Why did you get it healed? And I was thinking, does this need healing? I mean, I've had it for forever. Is this about healing? Is this about, it's just about something that I couldn't talk about. It was just something that I didn't, I just don't want to think about it. And I realized at that point in time, the Holy Spirit was saying, you can't be set free. This is not going to be something you want to carry with you. And so I did. I began to just use deep relief now, the thing that I'm going to teach you. And I just, God showed to me 3 different situations that happened at that workplace. And I began to just release it one after another. So within 10 minutes, I felt suddenly something just happened. I couldn't put a finger to it. I just felt something just broke. I just felt my self-esteem coming back. I felt just relief, and it was so immediate. But it wasn't a dramatic change until when at that time I was in Thailand, Pattaya, and I came back to Malaysia for I think a mission trip, or one of the trip, and I totally felt different when I came back. I could feel the self-esteem was different. And so this is one of the way that if you think that or even if you don't think that you need healing on something, just like me, not realizing that that was an issue that God can heal me of, and I was just totally set free regards to that situation. Now I can talk about it to you. So that is something, a big breakthrough for me. Deep relief now, DRN steps are: first, feel, forgive. And in forgiveness, we receive forgiveness from God, and we release forgiveness to others. And then we cut ungodly soul ties. And then we take out of captivity. Then we ask God to fill us. And then we will go to additional steps if there's any need to renounce any lies, and then to be filled. So this DRN steps is by Dr. Dennis Clark. I would like to teach you more in depth into how to do this effectively. Okay, so when you do the DRN, the first, feel, forgive. First, you have to only do one situation or one person at a time. So, first person or situation that comes into your mind. It's like, okay, the first person or situation that comes to your mind. If you do not have a situation in your mind, you can ask the Holy Spirit, what is the situation? But if you already have a situation, you can just use that particular situation. Okay, let me give you an example. If you already have a situation that happened to you, so example situation, when you ask God, what is the situation that I need to forgive? And then He shows you the thing that comes to your mind is like, okay, situation 1. You see mom and dad quarreling in the kitchen of your house. And then situation 2, you see yourself sitting and standing in the corner in the dark. Or situation 3, you're driving in the car and you're feeling sad. All these are considered one situation. And you have to do one situation at a time. You cannot lump all the 3 situations together and then do a DRN. Many people that tries to do that will not have peace. It will not go deep. And at the end, when they try to have peace, after they finish the DRN, they cannot. So it's important for us to just do one DRN at the time. So let's just say you take the situation of number 1, mom and dad quarrel in the kitchen of your house. And so what happens is that through the step in this DRN, first, you see the situation, you feel the negative emotion, maybe you feel upset or angry. Then you do forgiveness. And then after that, you wait for peace. So you drop down and you wait for peace until peace comes to you. Then only you move forward to cutting ungodly soul ties. And then take out of captivity. And then you pray for yourself to be filled with all the good emotions. And there, if it's a lie, then you just renounce the lie. So stay focused and complete the whole process before you do the next DR end. Don't get distracted. So there are many people who are in the middle of their DR end. They get distracted with another incident, and so they actually don't complete the first situation. They're probably halfway, and then suddenly another thought comes to them and they are totally distracted and they couldn't finish it. And so that will cause them not to have a completed. So you must finish the whole process, and then only you start with a new one. Forgiveness. Who do we release forgiveness to? So, forgiveness in a situation example. Let me show you this chart. All right. So you see a picture of yourself lying in the hospital bed, sad and weak. So forgiveness to who? Okay, you release forgiveness to, maybe you blame yourself, because you blame yourself for being so careless. So you release forgiveness to yourself, and then you release forgiveness to God for maybe He allowed you to be hurt, or why didn't you protect me, God, from the accident? You could have, you could have stopped it because you are God. So we could have blamed God, even though it's not His fault at all, right? And maybe family members, they didn't receive or they didn't pay for your bills, so you blame them. And then you also blame the doctors and nurses. Maybe they were rude and rough. They didn't give you the attention that you wanted and needed. And so in a situation of forgiveness, these are the people that you need to release forgiveness to. And the more you release to the people, the better. You cannot over forgive, but you can under forgive. And so that could be a problem if you under forgive, because you can never over forgive, right? Okay. So then you cut ungodly soul ties with the doctors and the family members, except yourself and God. So what are the possible obstacles that it may stop you from having peace or getting peace to the DRN that you're doing, right? Or you it's considered you didn't feel peace, it's not successful. Is one, you're trying to pray through two or more situations at a time. So when you pray, or the situation that you see, like I said, you have to do it one at a time. Then the next, when you finish one, then you go to the next one, situation 2. Then you're done with it, you go to the next one. And then 2 is unable to yield and surrender or forgive. If you're unable to yield and surrender, that means you are not able to drop down and just release it to Jesus. You feel very self-reliant. You feel you are just the Lord of your own life. And there is some pride element to it. There is self-reliant to it. Yeah. So that's why you cannot get peace. The next one is you are unable to forgive. It's so upsetting. It's so unfair. It's so traumatizing. It's so, just so hurt that you are just unable to forgive them, and you don't think they are worth or they deserve your forgiveness. Yeah. So that is the possible why you may not feel that peace. But just a short note, forgiveness is actually for yourself. It's not for other people. Yeah. A lot of times they don't even realize you're in pain. They're going about their life, but you are the one who is in pain. So forgiveness is very much for yourself. Believing ungodly belief or lies can be another obstacle to getting peace when you're doing DRN. Just like the example I gave to you earlier, where when I was 18 years old, I had a huge trauma and I was traumatized. I couldn't talk about it for 20 over years, and I just had shame. And so one of the things that it's possible that if I were doing a DRN and I don't have freedom or healing from it, I could believe a lie. Example, people will find out soon that I am not good and they will reject me. 2 is I'm incompetent. 3, I'm not good in my work. And some of the other examples which you could believe is God doesn't love me, I will always have bad luck, I don't deserve good things, I will always be poor and lacking. So ask God for what the lies that you believe, and believing lies is as a result of trauma and wounding. So that can happen. Example, if my parents have favoritism towards me, I could believe that I'm not good, that's why they don't love me. They love my siblings more. Or if I had a boyfriend and my boyfriend dumped me, I could believe I'm not beautiful enough, I will never get married, I will always be single. So when we believe lies, we are partnering with lies and we cannot live the truth. How do we check to see if we have done a DRN and emotional healing successfully? So what you do is, before you've done the situation, you had anger, fear, worry, and lots of other negative emotions. And then you check after you've done the DRN, how do you feel? Do you feel neutral, relaxed, peace? You feel good? So if you don't feel good, that means you have not done it properly, and so you can repeat the whole process again. And still, if you don't feel peace, that's possible you believe lies, or just like what I mentioned to you, just go through the troubleshoot section again. So this does not mean that all negative emotions for all other situations are gone. It's just this one. So after going through the whole process, this whole process, after going through it, what if you feel this? Why do I feel bad after a few days? Let me just give you an example. Just say my boss said some nasty remarks to me and threatened me that if I don't perform, I will get a warning letter and eventually I will be terminated. And I felt so much fear. I felt so much fear of losing my job, and I have 4 children who are still very young, and I'm the only breadwinner. And okay, I feel worried. So what I do is I do a DRN and I release this to the Lord. I forgave my boss, and I felt all the worry and the anger gone. But a few days later, I feel the anger and the worry again. So did I actually get healing? Why did it come back? Okay, one of the reasons why it could come back is, okay, I release it to the Lord on Monday. On Friday, I'm just sitting down and I'm thinking about the situation of my boss saying this nasty word and threatening me, and I get angry all over again, and I get worried all over again, and I'm just sitting down there for the next 30 minutes and I'm just entertaining all this worry. Oh, what happens if he were to terminate me and I will lose my job? And without a job, where am I going to get the money to pay all my bills? My children going to school? How do I pay for the grocery bills? And when am I going to get a new job? So if I'm sitting down there entertaining all these worrisome thoughts, all this fear, I can be reinfected. I can be reinfected, right? And so this is how I get reinfected, by dwelling and entertaining this whole situation and dwelling on it for the next 30 minutes or the next few days. So if that happens to you, you are reinfected, all you have to do is just go through the whole process all over again. Just repeat the whole process starting from DRN and just release it to God and come back to the place of peace. Okay, I hope you are blessed by this video. If you want to be coached or led through a DRN through my YouTube video, you can go to my YouTube channel, Freedom International, and there will be a video that will guide you through it. Let me just show you. This is one of the older one. I have a new one. Oh, sorry, this is the new one. And so it will take you through the emotional healing. And for the first about 8 minutes, you will be led through in a very slow and being coached. And then after that, at the end of it, there will be the new video where I take you through in a very short way, just 3 minutes each time, and it goes on for 7 times. So all you need to do is just close your eyes and just be led by my voice through this. Yeah, so you can just go to my channel, and of course there is another one that will just, there will be no coaching. Then you just I will just lead you through the prayer for 7 times, so you can do one DRN after another, led by my voice. If you have been blessed by my ministry and my videos, I would like to invite you to sow and invest into my ministry. You can go to online giving, or you can go to my website. There is a section where you can go and book a session if you would like to have online mentoring, or you would like to have mentoring. Yes, and so you will find the information on payments here, or you can go to donations, and here you can click on the buttons. Example, if you want to give 100, you will be taken to this website where you can pay with credit cards and all. So thank you. I appreciate your blessing. God bless you. Thank you.